Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Kenny Wallace Show, brought to you by JEGS. I love that little diecast, the JEGS diecast. Brought to you by JEGS, the leader in high-performance aftermarket car parts. And remember to go to jegs.com for everything and anything you need. They always say, Herman, tell them we got Jeep parts and we got truck parts. That's a big deal at JEGS right now. Well, we were so honored earlier. NASCAR said that I could interview Tyler Reddick. And this story is fascinating to me. I wanted to interview Tyler because years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, I met Tyler at a dirt track. And I think his story is so fascinating because here's Tyler Reddick at a dirt track, maybe 15, 16 years old. I watch him from afar. He becomes a superstar. He's won, a handful of NASCAR Cup races. He started out like us rednecks, started out as dirt racing, and now Tyler Reddick is at the highest form of motorsports possible in America, and that's the NASCAR Cup Series. So as we head to North Wilkesboro, what is wrong with me? As we head to North Wilkesboro for the AllStar Race, and I remind you, it pays $1 million to win. Can you believe that? Hey, we're going up to that little dirt track, and it pays $1 million to win. So I asked Tyler Reddick about that. I asked him a lot. So here we go. Sit back, and we were able to steal Tyler Reddick for about 10 minutes. Here we go. I am so excited to have a longtime friend join the show, Tyler Reddick. So Tyler, the last time you and I raced together, we were on the north side of Nashville, Tennessee. You were just a young kid and we were racing dirt cars together. But look at you now, brother. You're a NASCAR winner. You're a superstar. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to see you. Great to catch up with you. Yeah, it's crazy how things have moved along, and yeah, dreams do seem to come true every now and again. But it's really crazy that think back on all those times at the dirt track and getting to see each other and race against each other for sure.
They got an Aerosmith song. It says "Life's a Journey." Tell me about that quick journey between those dirt racing days and the dream that seems so far away. I want to quit running these bull rings and I want to become a NASCAR race car driver. Just tell me real quickly, what was that process? Dirt car to what next, and here you are.
Yeah, I was, like I said, I was racing a lot with Luke Soil, World of Outlaws, Summer Nationals, trying to hit all the big events, running late models. And through doing all that, got connected with your good friend, Ken Schrader. And he was like, I think you should come hop in my stock car. And so, we worked it out, and I got to run a couple races with him on the ARCA side at Mobile, Alabama was my first ever asphalt race. And then we went to Salem, and I got to run that race as well. And I was pretty much a fish out of water for those races. Certain things were there, but just understanding asphalt racing in general was very different. So think about 7-8 months go by, and I, we're going to run a K&N race at Rockingham in his car. And that was pretty much the weekend that kind of changed everything. We went in there, we qualified 3rd to 5th, somewhere in that range, and just kind of hung out in the top 5 the entire race. Didn't really do anything special the first half of the race, just kind of was there, wasn't really leading, wasn't really doing anything crazy. But yeah, the second half of that race, we kind of went from 5th to 4th and 4th to 3rd. And I remember probably 20 laps to go getting around Corey LaJoie. And this maybe is no shock to you, but I started moving off the bottom. I got to the point the tires got so hot I couldn't hit the bottom anymore. I didn't have that entry up. So I said, screw it, I'm just gonna start moving up the racetrack. I'm gonna start trying to hit the wall in 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So I just kept moving up and ran down Brett Moffitt and won that race on the final lap in a pretty spectacular crashing fashion, So yeah, that was kind of the day that changed everything, and it got me lined up with Brad Keselowski on a part-time schedule, and had my 3 years in truck, had enough success to land a part-time gig at Chip Ganassi Racing. win my first year there, which helped propel me to junior motorsports, winning a championship there, then RCR. And from that point on, everyone kind of knows I was at RCR, Cup, whatever. But, you know, so that was kind of the journey. And it really, the asphalt journey really got kickstarted by Schrader and his group, and them willing to work with someone so green as I was. You know, I really put them through a lot, but, you know, it really paid off.
So, you know, that journey that you took, we watched, you know, up in North Wilkesboro, the big AllStar Weekend. What a great nickname. This kid named Butterbean. You know, we get those nicknames, you know, mine's a Herminator, you know, these Southern nicknames, but this kid's the real deal. He's a great race car driver. So he basically did what you did. He outrun some great race car drivers last night. These kids look at you and want to be you. Did you pay attention to the start of the AllStar Weekend at all? What do you think about this this AllStar late model stocks, the stock cars last night at Wilkesboro?
Yeah, I'm actually really glad you asked me. Me and my spotter Nick Payne made the trip up there yesterday afternoon, and we got to catch the tail end of qualifying. But we stuck around for the first two features. I really wanted to stick around for the super feature at the end of the night, but I knew I was already pushing my luck, being gone all day. I knew Alexa, excuse me.
Bless you, buddy.
Cut, go, whatever. Yeah, so I knew I needed to get home. You know, I knew it was gonna be really late to stick around for the super feature. But yeah, I really enjoyed going up there and getting to watch those races and see how those late model drivers took on the challenge of North Wilkesboro.
So as I look at you now, it has been a lot of fun for me to watch how far you've come. And I've heard everything. Word on the street, I can tell you're physically fit, but they tell me that you work extremely hard inside, you know, your team, whether it's on the simulator. Like I said, you're chiseled out, you're doing everything right. Tell me what it's like to be in a high-end Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin run team. What do you do every day to have everybody brag on you that you put a lot of work inside the shop?
Well, I mean, the weeks kind of fly by, honestly, and I think, you know, part of that is just how much goes on every week, not just for me, but the whole team. But everyone does a really good job of really communicating, and I think that allows us to make the leaps and bounds that we've been making in the short time that we've been together so far. You know, so the team does a really good job with you know, I never really was a meetings person, but we do have a lot of meetings during the week here, and I find all of them very beneficial and useful. That's the whole point of a meeting, right? So, you know, everyone here at the team does a really good job of debriefing. You know, me and Bubba and the road crew do a good job of debriefing, going over the race weekend. You know, Dave Rogers is in place here, kind of head of competition, does a really good job of extracting information out of us and giving us, you know, the template, if you will, to really have a good platform to communicate. And then, you know, again, we really communicate well with Joe Gibbs Racing. We go down and debrief with those guys, go over what we thought of the race weekend. You know, we share a lot of information with one another. And so having, you know, those 6 teams to be able to reflect on the weekend before, or the day before, you know, really is beneficial. And, you know, we have a good team here that goes up. We go over a lot of information leading into the races. There's not a whole lot for North Wilkesboro, obviously. You know, the cars have changed a lot since the 90s, but you know, we do spend a lot of time going over pre-event information. And then, you know, the sim time that we put in every week is very, very useful. TRD has a great simulation program, and great people that really run that and manage it. You know, Drew Herring, Ryan Truex, I think even David Hawksworth has done some work for TRD, getting the Wilkforce car where it needs to be, giving us the right information. There's a lot of parts and pieces to make it all work, for sure. And that's just on the team side. Then I try and find time to go work out and stay in the good shape that I've really built up over the last 5-6 years with everyone that I've been training with. And so, yeah, all that being said, then it's normally a Friday and you're heading to the racetrack, and then you go to the racetrack and grind it out. So
do you find those meetings intimidating or therapeutic? Because you said you used to never do them before. And, you know, with all my years in NASCAR, usually when we were having a meeting, that meant I was getting my ass chewed out. But when you started doing these meetings, intimidating or therapeutic?
Oh, it's extremely useful. I mean, at AllStar, we would debrief after the weekend with, all of our affiliates. So, I mean, we would have that, but just the extra steps that this place takes that I feel like is really beneficial. We share a lot of good information, and it really helps, bring me and Bubba to a place of conversation to be able to, share our differences and opinions, or just differences in perspective of this situation, or how we approach a tire run like at North Wilkesboro, or how we approach a race at this track or the other. So I think everyone really does a good job of communicating here, and just how we prep and take our cars to the racetrack really makes it gives me and Bubba the opportunity to really be able to mimic each other if we're not, if one of us isn't where we want to be. We want to change up our driving style. Our cars are close, really close, so that allows us to really change our driving style, really compare to one another, and I think that really helps push us in the right direction.
Yeah, so it sounds like you like these meetings. Okay, so look, we're 13 races into the year, and you started with a new team. You came from Richard Childers to this team. You got to Phoenix, and buddy, you lit on fire. You run third at Phoenix and fifth, and then you win Circuit of the America. You go on, you're still running really good. You got 6 top 10s. You're 10th in the points. So when you go to that Phoenix race where you got everything going in the right direction, is there any one thing on the car or you or the team that lit you on fire? Because it's very hard to run in the top 10 every single week. Is there any one thing that you put your finger on that got you up to speed?
Honestly, no. I mean, it wasn't at Phoenix. I mean, it was from the first time I was in the car at Circuit of the Americas for a tire test for Goodyear way back in January. The way that cars drive, they drive really good. It just seems like everyone has a good understanding, of this next gen car. And yeah, the results weren't necessarily there at Daytona. Obviously, we crashed out of that race. In Fontana, we fell out of that race as well. But even at those racetracks, the finishes weren't there. But like I could just tell, just what we had, week to week to week. I mean, it's pretty much been every week, honestly. Like the speed is there in our cars. Sometimes things happen, and it's part of racing. You're not expecting to kind of take you out of the race, or something goes awry on a pit stop, whatever it might be. But like pretty much every week with this team since day one at the Clash, I've been really, really pleased with the outright speed that we bring to the racetrack. So it's just a matter of putting those finishes together and surviving those crazy late race cautions.
So there's a really good song. It says, "Hey, now you're an all-star. Get your game on." So listen, man, you're an all-star. You're locked into the big AllStar week up in North Wilkesboro. This cannot be downplayed. It's $1 million to win. It looks like, as NASCAR's been treading water over the last 15 years, looks like short tracks are on the comeback. Seems to me there's a big societal shift. You're going to Wilkesboro because you're an all-star. You're good. You're locked in. What does that mean to you that you're so good, that you're one of the boys? I always found that very, very cool. How do you feel about that?
It is definitely cool. I mean, I've remembered the last 3 previous years that, I've been in the Cup Series. I've always been having to fight my way into the AllStar Race. And, Bristol, it didn't pan out. At Texas, the first year it did, but we just didn't quite have the speed to go contend. Last year at Texas, kind of going for it to get in the race, and we crashed and go home early. So, yeah, it is really nice to have those wins and be locked into the AllStar Race. I do feel like, again, we were at the tire test for Goodyear at North Wilkesboro earlier in the year, and I was really, really, really pleased with the handling and pace of our car over a run. So I feel like, based off that, just having that little bit of extra experience too, I think we're going to be in really good shape when we get there. So I'm very excited about, 1, being locked in, and 2, just how good that test went for us. It's a very unique track, and I love that I got the opportunity through Toyota and Goodyear to go out there and get some laps on the track.
Tyler, I'm smiling right now because I'm like a dad watching a kid grow up. You're perfect in this era because you're very digital oriented. You're always talking about my tire test, you're doing it all right. I mean, this is pretty incredible that it is true that you put the work in. You're physically fit. You're up with digital. Do you understand all these graphs and simulation like a Formula One driver? Where did you learn all this?
Just from the time put in into, you know, studying, you know, like years past, you know, when I had to really put a lot of work in to get better at the road courses, you know, we go right to comparing to the best of the best at the time, you know, comparing to Chase, comparing to Denny, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, you know, and because of the information that's out there through SMT, the information collected through, you know, through the facets that they are and the teams have that access to, you know, gave me a great platform to be able to get better. So just in the day and age of NASCAR now, you really have to be able to understand, you know, all those 50, 60 different graphs that you might see in a weekend, and pick the ones that make the most sense for that situation that you have and dive into it and make the adjustments. So obviously every car is going to be a little different, even in the next gen era on the setup and whatnot. But still, you know, you have to be able to look at that stuff and just get your head thinking a little bit differently than you normally would. Okay, I know how this guy likes to drive this car into the corner. He's making it work. I got to be able to adapt to that quickly. And so being able to understand all that stuff really helps.
Well, listen, there he is, kids. If you want to be like him, you better understand how to work a simulator and get into the digital age. Tyler, listen, thank you so much. Do good at Wilkesboro. $1 million to win. And like they say, I'm sure you spend your mama out for it. Thank you for coming on the Kenny Wallace Show. And remember, everybody, we are in podcast form. Check us out on iTunes, Spotify. Remember to like and subscribe. So Tyler, do good at Wilkesboro, win $1 million and give it all to your wife.
Yeah, right. For sure.
Love you, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See ya. Take care.